Today on BNI Mid-America TV, it's the Notable Networker Show. These BNI members have been nominated by their peers for doing amazing things, reaching big accomplishments, and actively displaying the giver's gain philosophy. Listen as they share their golden nuggets for networking success. And now your host, Marcy Cascio-Hale.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to BNI Mid-America TV. This is the Notable Networker Show, and my name is Marcy Cascio-Hale. I'm going to be your host today, and today I have with me Laura Klein. Thank you for being with us, Laura. Appreciate it. Laura belongs to the Extreme Business Builders chapter, which is in Edwardsville, and they meet every Thursday on Zoom at 7:30 in the morning. She fills the health and wellness seat, specifically representing a company called Asea. She also oversees the Givers Gain Fund and is a power team captain. Want to welcome you to the show, Laura, and I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yay, me too. First of all, before we get into the Notable Networker portion, I want you to share just a little bit about your business. Can you tell us a little bit about Asea?
I'd love to. Okay, so about going on a year ago, my husband was diagnosed. I'll just say he had some cells that went rogue. You could probably figure that out. I'm trying to stay compliant. But, you know, I wasn't really looking for this company, but it kind of came to me by I always call it, by fate. And the more I researched, the more interested I became about the products that the company had to offer. Primarily, it's a product that they had a breakthrough about 11 years ago that deals with redox signaling molecules, which I had no knowledge about. And the whole idea about Asea is that they were able to stabilize these molecules outside of the body, which meant that we could replace the molecules that we lose over time. And they found in a double-blind study, when people took this supplement, that they had improvements in 5 genetic pathways to include cardiovascular health, inflammatory response, immune response, digestive, and hormonal balance. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's about everybody I know. So my husband got on the product as a way to supplement the treatment that he was getting. And the results were just too impressive not to pay attention. So I got involved with Asea as a matter of a personal choice. But then I found myself sharing it with others. And as I saw the results people were having, I was just so excited. So that's kind of how I got involved with Asea. They have several other products, 9 products in particular. And I always say health is wealth. So I love representing this amazing company.
So is this a supplement that you take with meals, or is it a drink? Is it pills?
Yeah. What it is, their flagship products, 2 in particular. One is a liquid redox supplement, where once they were able to stabilize these molecules, they put it in the form of a drink. Actually, you take it on an empty stomach, morning and night, and you can kind of build up. My husband was taking quite a bit of it. So based on, like I'm a fairly healthy person, I take about 8 to 10 ounces of it a day. It's not a drug. It's not toxic to us. Our liver and our kidney doesn't metabolize it. So it's very safe. It doesn't interact with other medications that people are on. So pretty much take whatever you want. There's no, science behind that, other than if you have a condition, then obviously you'd want to take a little bit more. So that's the first product that we carry. The second one that we have is actually a topical version, and that was part of their skincare line that they came out with. But what they found out by people using it was actually taking away people's discomfort. So if you have any issues, bruising, anything having to do with the skin, scarring, rashes, just my mother-in-law had a sty on her eye. We put a little bit on the eyelid. So the topical version of this technology is called Renew 28. And that has been a big wow for people, because it has helped not only in skincare wise, but it helps people with discomfort in all kinds of areas.
That sounds amazing. And so one of the questions I ask everybody, what is it that makes you and your product, your business, what makes you special? What makes you stand out?
Thank you for asking that, because I know there are so many choices when it comes to health and wellness. I believe because this has the scientific research to back it, and the fact that it works at the cellular level, and companies can say that, but my first question is, let me see the science. I think my middle name is skeptical, and I'd say most Americans, when you talk to them about health and wellness products, they're always going to kind of think, what is that? What's the research on this? People want proof in the pudding. So with our company, we have that. I mean, we have studies, we have, a lot of peer-reviewed articles about redox signaling molecules. So I think that's what sets us apart, is that we're not only providing people the opportunity to improve their health, but we have the science that backs it, versus a company saying, oh, we work at the cellular level. Show me the science, show me the studies. Let me see what the research says. That's what I love about this company.
I love clinical studies, and I'm so not a geek, but I love when you can put it on a piece of paper and a table and show it to me. I love that. So yeah. We definitely need to talk more. So in terms of the notable networker, I just want to give you some of the amazing glowing comments that we received for you. I'm not going to tell you who has said it because that's, confidential, but Laura has been a member for several years. She is the growth coordinator. Laura has a contagious personality and an attitude that makes her BNI meetings fun and exciting. She is a serious business owner, and she often talks about how BNI can help anyone's business if you put the time and effort in. Definitely someone I want to interview about. You get what you put in to the concept. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? I mean, people are obviously raving about you and your attitude and your persistence and your consistency. Tell me what that means to you.
Well, it means a lot, because you think sometimes that when you come to a BNI chapter meeting and you're just doing your thing, you're not realizing that people are maybe noticing the positivity. And that makes me happy, because I really think that's a big part of it, is to come to every BNI event, chapter meeting, whatever it is, with that positive mindset and the mindset that everyone can grow. I wouldn't have been with BNI this long. I call it my ROI. What is my return on my investment? If I can't see a return on my investment of my time and money, then I'm not going to keep doing it. So when someone says to me, does BNI work? I'm like, yes. I wouldn't keep doing something that doesn't bring me value or return on my investment. So it makes me happy that people have noticed that I really do care about everybody's success, and that positivity is such a big part of what you bring to the table, and the fact that you aren't here just for yourself. It really is about helping the team. And every time I email them, I always say, hey, BNI referral partners, because that's what I view them as. Mm-hmm. I view them as partners in the process for them and for me. So we are not associates, we're partners, which means, we're coming together to partner for success.
Well, and I love this comment, because character is something that other people see when you're not paying attention to what other people are paying attention to. And it's like anything else. That's how people truly know you and truly know what kind of person you are. So I do think that's one of the greatest compliments. So kudos to you and what you're doing. Now with Asea, that is a direct sales company, right?
Yes, direct sales would be where I've come from. Mm-hmm. This is more network marketing.
Okay.
So different animal, but somewhat similar concept.
Okay. And so I even as myself, I get a lot of questions about, is BNI a good fit for network marketing and direct sales? And so how do you answer that question?
That is probably one of my favorite questions, because it's really, it's a simple answer. I believe that anyone that is trying to grow a business, that wants to receive a return on their investment, wants the chance and the ability to partner with others, mm-hmm. to reach whatever goals that you have, then yes, it can work. However, one of the things I've seen people do that might not be beneficial is they might come in where they're selling a product and they're so sales focused that they forget about what the basic premise of BNI is, and that is to build relationships. What I have found is if you come in and you build those meaningful relationships,
Mhm.
and you really get to learn about everybody else, the sale will follow. The building will follow if you do the basic tenets of what BNI is all about, and that is building a relationship, getting to know other people. You know, when I do a one-to-one with someone, I don't even want to talk about my business. I want to learn about theirs.
Mhm.
And then it should come back around to me. But I always start every one-to-one off, tell me how I can help you
Right.
get more results with your business. So I think if people come in and do the right things and do the work, we know this, if you come in and do the work that's required, and I don't even want to say work because it really doesn't take up that much time. It's just, if you really learn about what other people in the group is all about, you
Mhm.
cannot believe how many connections can be made and come back to you. I call it the boomerang effect. I think I wrote that on my little sheet, but
Yeah.
whatever you throw out there will come right back to you. So you can't go in hot and go, I have a product to sell and I want to sell it to you. And I'm going to try to sell it to you and to you and to you. People are going to run away. You know, they're going to say, oh, here she comes. She's trying to sell me something. So
Mhm.
we have to be careful to, I think, sell ourselves first, and then our product that we're representing, that will all come to fruition over time.
Mhm. Well, and I think that's the basic tenet of BNI is when you go to a meeting, you're not selling the people in the room, you're training the people in the room to help promote your product elsewhere, to answer the needs of other people. So direct sales and network marketers, we do have that this one mentality, but BNI is a shift in that, where it is about the relationship. And
Yes.
that's one of my favorite things about BNI is the family aspect, the cohesiveness, and that everybody's in it together. And I always equate the relationship building to going to work out at the gym. You don't get abs of steel in 2 days from 2 days of crunches.
Right.
It is a process. It is, and we said work, but it is a process. It's like anything else, and it's one foot in front of the other. So it's one of my favorite things because you do see the results faster than getting abs of steel. I'm just going to say that.
That's great news.
Yes. Okay. And so next question. What is your biggest BNI win?
I would say the biggest BNI win for me, and this is going to sound so maybe cliche,
Oh, I
is
love
when I see a new member, because I always try to focus on new members.
that.
When a new member says to me in front of the entire chapter, thank you to Laura Klein for helping me make a connection with so-and-so. Because I think when we can show new people right away that their investment is going to pay off,
Oh, yeah.
that they made a good decision by joining our chapter. See, that's a win for me, because that person knows a lot of people that I'm going to get to meet. So if we can validate someone's choice,
Mhm.
you know, like I just invested, you know, money and now I'm investing time.
Right.
I hope this was a risk that I took, you know, I hope I see results. So my focus is when a new person comes, I always want to do a one-on-one with them right away, but I always try to refer to them as soon as possible, because I want them to see in their mind, you know, okay, I see how this can work. I mean, I've only been in a week and I already got a referral from Laura Klein. This is great. And then they see that in front of the whole chapter. And that's a big win for me, because that means I'm hopefully doing things right. And if everybody would do that, oh my gosh, wouldn't that just be amazing?
Mhm.
So that's the big win for me, is helping the newest member realize that the decision they've made was a good one, good investment, and they're going to see some results if they just do everything if they do everything by the book, and
Work
we
the
have
program.
work the program,
Mhm.
you will be just fine, and you're going to be so happy you made that decision.
I'm always happy I made that decision.
Me
BNI is life changing. It's
Yes.
it's
Yes.
amazing. So, can you tell me one of the positive effects that you've done in helping your chapter?
Well, I think because we are business referral partners, sometimes I think things can become very rigid and people see it as a weekly chapter meeting that they, have to come to. No, we get to come to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not have to, we get to come to it. One of the things that I wanted to start a few years ago, we had a BNI chapter member who became very ill and he was very sick. And one day we were challenged to do a one-to-one with the person sitting, or I think we picked a name. Anyway, the individual that I got was this very sick individual. And I literally almost started crying as I started talking to him because I realized as he was so very ill, terminal. And I sat down with him and I stopped him and I said, you know what? I don't want to talk about my business today. I don't even want to hear about your business today. I want to know what we can do as a chapter to help you in these final weeks and months of your life, who knows. And that's when we created the Givers Gain Fund. And that is probably one of the proudest things. I went to the president and I said, I'm trying to do business with this man who is very, very sick. And today wasn't the day for me to talk to him about my business or even his business. What can we do to help him as a human being? So we were able to, raise some money, help him out with some medical bills. And he never forgot that. He never forgot that. And if we can just make this BNI experience more than just about the business relationships, to let people know, you've heard this, Marcy, I know you have. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I could stand up all day and talk about the benefits of BNI, and that's great. There's so many, but unless people really realize that this relationship goes beyond that business platform, boy, there's so many more things that we can do for each other. So our Givers Gain was something that I kind of went to the president with and said, we need to do something. So when someone is having a rough week or there's a death in the family, or we can pull out of that fund and do things for them that help them, that make people realize this is more than just a business relationship. This is my extended family that truly cares not only about my business, but they care about me and my family. That's huge. So that's one of my big, I hope, one of the things I've contributed as a BNI chapter member.
Well, and it goes back to, it's not just about business referrals.
Right.
And I know you and I are very similar. I love my BNI chapter. They have my heart. I would do anything for any individual person in my chapter. And I love what you did because I hadn't heard of that before. And that's something that I'm going to take back to the president of my chapter and see if potentially we can do. So I think that's amazing. So definitely hands off to you. Hands off. No,
people contribute what they want.
Off.
If members want to contribute $5, they can, $10, whatever you want. But we have sent flowers when people have babies. We've sent flowers when people have, weddings. We have sent, when someone has lost a parent. Whatever we think's appropriate, we want that individual, we want that chapter member to know that we got their back, that we care, and that we care enough to do something outside of the realm of business. And that just speaks volumes to that chapter member.
Yes.
So
it truly does. It truly does. So thank you for bringing that to light. Okay. So shifting gears just a little bit, tell me what BNI has done for your business.
Okay. So I've been with BNI for, I guess I'm going on 8 years. I've built a large organization in my direct sales business. So what that's done for me is allowed me to reach my goals quicker. I had a goal to have a $5 million organization. I wouldn't have done that without BNI. I would have hit those numbers. My goal now, would be to go beyond that. So I know that sometimes people say, oh, my network is so small, or I'm restricted. I'm not allowed to talk about my direct sales business at my day job, or I'm not allowed. Well, then this is why this is such a great avenue. Because if people say to me, I just don't have the network you do. And I'm like, I haven't always had this network. I had to work to meet new people. It's not who you know, it's who you need to get to know. So if someone says to me, my network is so small, I'm like, well, then you need to be networking. And I don't mean, net sitting, net eating, net drinking,
Right.
all those things that people think they're doing when they're networking, because they're not. They can go in happy hours and they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, but are you in a referral driven networking group? There's a difference. So I always make sure when someone comes to me and says, I'm limited, I'm military, or, I don't have any family or friends around here to support me. First thing I'll say is, would you see value in meeting people that you've never met, you've never known? And if you were willing to develop relationships with those people, would you be willing, to be in a referral based group that could help you if you're willing to help them? So it's just interesting. People think, oh, I'm never going to be successful because my network is so small. Well, then you have to do something about that. You got to go meet new people. So that's what BNI has allowed me and a lot of my team members. I have team members all over the country that have joined BNIs because I've told them, you can't keep coming back and telling me, your network is small, or I'm out of people to reach out to. You're never out of people in BNI, because we're constantly filling the BNI bucket with new people, which is a whole nother avenue to go down.
Right. And all the other chapters that are available.
Absolutely. It's never ending. You couldn't possibly get through. I travel out of town all the time. And every time I travel out of town, first thing I do, if I'm going down to Florida, for example, I line up my whole week. If I'm down there to do a meeting with my team or whatever, I'll look at all the BNI chapters in that area and I'll map out, I'm going to a BNI chapter meeting every day while I'm down there. People who would have, and now I have a team in Florida because of my BNI connection. So it's just unlimited access to potential referrals when you think about BNI in the whole United States. I mean, we can go to any, obviously with their permission, we can go to any BNI chapter meeting. It's crazy. It's unlimited. So
yes. And I love that, with permission. So the protocol is to reach out to the president of the chapter if you don't know anybody in the chapter to get permission to attend. 99.999% of the time, as long as it's not a closed meeting, the president is going to say, please come, because you're another connection for all of their members as well. So it is reciprocal. And that's one of the things I love about BNI. Is it is reciprocal. It might not be you and me immediately reciprocal, but it could be you and one of my friends. So it, like you said, it's just expanding that.
And interestingly, Marcy, I have gone to out-of-state BNI chapter meetings and I've been able to refer. How strange is that? Because I know people in those areas because I'm doing business in those areas. I'm like, oh, I know somebody that might need your help. Let me connect you. And they're like, but you're from Illinois. Doesn't matter. I know people all over the place. So you can even go into these chapter meetings. And if your chapter doesn't currently have that seat filled, you may go into another chapter and somebody may need help. It's interesting how you can just drop referrals all over the country. It's crazy. It's just it's so cool how it works.
And powerful. I mean, it's so powerful. I do want to ask you, what is your golden nugget? We all have one. And so I want to know what your golden nugget is.
Is that AKA golden goose? Like my best?
Well, we can ask that question too, but I was more like, what piece of advice would you give somebody?
Gotcha.
Let's talk about your goose first. Let's talk about.
Okay. Well, actually, this is funny. We're made up of 74 trillion cells. So anyone that has cells, that'd be everybody. So if I could talk to everybody for 15 minutes, I would love that. So
but that's a golden egg. That's a golden egg.
That's a golden egg. That's my golden goose would be somebody who maybe a chiropractor, maybe somebody who's in sports medicine, somebody that's interested in improving someone's health. Anybody in that field, I know if I sit and talk to them, I could get them so intrigued about this product. That's good. I get excited about that. So that would be my golden goose. Okay. My golden nugget, here's the advice. I was taught this early on. How do you know if you don't try? It is a lot of times people see it as a risk, like what if I get into BNI and I don't see results? But, how do you know if you don't try? So here's my advice. I tell everybody, I ask them three simple questions. One, are you currently, how are you currently marketing your business? And then they tell me, and usually it's not a whole lot. They say, well, I'm not doing much. I'm like, okay, if I could share with you a way to market your business by building relationships, would you be interested in learning how you could do that? And they usually tell me yes. And then I'll say, are you able to give time? Are you willing to commit time and a little bit of money to see a return on your investment? If the answer is yes, then I want to invite you. So that's the first thing I always do is they got to see how this works. And if we can get them, to attend a chapter meeting, they're going to see how this works. It's just so remarkable to see people talking about the passing of referrals. And I think we don't have the visual anymore because we're, currently Zooming it, but verbalizing, thank you to John for giving me that referral. People need to hear that. They see how people are just, connecting, and it's just so powerful. So that's my biggest advice is getting guests, because that increases our referral base. So I think we have to do a better job of bringing guests to the chapter meetings so they can see how this works. Because interestingly, I don't think too many people have joined BNI. I don't know what the stats are. I'd say most were a guest first. Then they see the power of it, and then they say, I got to do this. I know when I went and visited, I was like, how do I sign up? I mean, I knew that day it was that powerful to me that I could see in 90 minutes, I could see the value of what this could do for my business. I said, give me an application. So I'd say for most of us, if we're already in BNI, it's getting those guests to come. If you really care about helping, a lot of times, small business, then you're going to want to invite them to see what it's about. Because I think that's where the wheels start turning. Because you could talk to people constantly about BNI. They need to see it. Because I always say that people, we're only 20% auditory, we're 80% visual. And what better visual for people to see is to witness the interactions of the group and how referrals are just flying around the room. It's an amazing thing. So I think getting guests, that would be the biggest golden nugget, is continue to get guests to get to these chapter meetings so they can see firsthand what this could do for their business. It's truly powerful.
I totally agree. I love having guests in the room. And the first time I attended, I was doing another business, and I knew that it was the right thing. And my partner said, we just don't have the time. And I was just like, oh, I was so disappointed. But a couple years later, I switched and I started my own business. And I called the person who invited me previously, and I said, is this still going on? I need it. I want it. And I walked in that first day and said, okay, how can I make this happen? And I've been here almost 5 years, and I love it. It has transformed me as a person as well as my business. And I'm like you, I'm very proud of my BNI chapter and my BNI experience. So I love that. Any final thoughts before we take off here?
I just want to thank you for this opportunity to talk a little bit more about Asea and the connections that we make through BNI. I don't think I'd ever leave BNI. I will always try to find something to do. Even when I retire, I can't imagine not being a part of BNI. I don't know what I'll be. I might be, making gnomes or something silly. I'll always be in BNI doing something if they will let me be a part of it. So thank you for the time today. And I hope everybody just goes out there and makes a difference for others through the referral process. And, good luck, everybody. It's a great thing.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Laura. And anybody who is watching, you can get Laura's information in the show notes. So be sure to look for that. And Laura, I not just thank you for coming, but thank you for your spirit, because you are one of those people to watch, and you help other people and you grow other people. And I think it's amazing what you're doing for your world, your BNI chapter, and everybody else. So with that, we are going to close BNI Mid-America TV Notable Networker Show. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us. Look for us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and every other social media that we can even think of. And then we're going to take off. Have a great day. Thank you.
For more information on how BNI can help you build your business, book your complimentary consultation with Virginia Moosekeith at discoverbnimitamerica.com. BNI Mid-America TV is brought to you by the Bergman Insurance Group, your trusted source for Medicare information, education, and enrollment. Be sure to check out the show notes for additional information on how to contact today's host or guest about their business, and thanks for watching.